convenient locations, you can shop at our locally owned and operated stores or online at georgiaspotcompany.com. From home delivery to service calls, we'll handle it all so you can sit back and relax. Save up to $6,000 on hot tubs now through Sunday only, bringing relaxation home.
Weather headlines on News Channel 6, brought to you by Jamie Casino Injury Attorneys.
It's been a very rainy Sunday with a lot of heavy downpours. We're also watching some severe storms just to the south of the CSRA, which are getting pretty close to us. I'll have all the details on what you can expect the rest of this evening coming right up.
Right now on News Channel 6 at 6, a protest turns into a riot, what authorities say led to the violence in Atlanta. Plus, South Carolina lawmakers push for a bill to fine people who damage power substations. We have those details. Your News at 6 starts right now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 6.
Good evening, I'm Renetta Dubose, and thank you for joining us. Coverage you can count on begins with new details in the death of a child in Aiken County. We first told you last night about the Aiken County Coroner's Office locating 1-year-old Alexavia Aguirre Friday night around 9:30. It happened at a home on L&L Lane in Aiken. We now know the identity of the child's mother arrested from that same location. The sheriff's office says Alexandra Elizabeth Howell was charged with possession of fentanyl. EMS found her daughter in cardiac arrest. Howell was released from custody yesterday. An autopsy has been scheduled in Newberry Tuesday on the child. A car hit a pedestrian, leaving that person dead in Aiken County. Troopers say the incident happened last night on US 1, that's near Cherokee Drive. The pedestrian was crossing the highway and was hit and killed. The identity of that person has not been released yet. And the peaceful protest Saturday night turned into chaos and violence in Atlanta. Protesters smashed windows, setting a police vehicle on fire. Authorities say they made 6 arrests and stopped the violence. This is in the wake of the killing of an environmental activist. Officials say the 26-year-old shot and wounded a state trooper. Authorities say the trooper fired in self-defense, but activists questioned that account. Atlanta police arrested 6 people. And we have meteorologist Jennifer Tracci joining us now for this very rainy Sunday.
Yeah, unfortunately, our weekend isn't ending with a whole lot of sunshine. It's been raining practically all day long ever since last night. So far over the last 24 hours, we've seen around 1 inch to 1.5 inches, except for Aiken County. Check that out, near 3 inches of rainfall for the majority of Aiken. Now, notice on Live Viper 6 some very heavy downpours with some lightning strikes now in our southern line counties, and that's where we'll be watching for some thunderstorm development later on this evening. Check out this line here. Just to the south of the Swainsboro, we're seeing several severe thunderstorm warnings and even some tornadoes. So we're watching that very closely to monitor the potential of severe weather. But it does look like this warm front will stay just to our south, and that's where the chance of severe weather is. So notice that marginal risk is only for part of Allendale County into Emmanuel County for the rest of this evening. So a very low chance that we could have a severe storm warning. You can also see where that warm sector is based on our temperature map, only at 48 degrees with very cloudy skies in Augusta, but 63 in Savannah, 73 down in southern Georgia where they're dealing with those severe storms and tornadoes. But we're seeing mostly 40s, 44 in Lincolnton, 43 in Washington, 47 in Aiken, a little bit warmer down south though, seeing more so those low to mid 50s. Visibility is also poor, only 4 miles in Augusta, 2 in Barnwell, 5 in Aiken. It's a very cloudy night. Here's a look at Swainsboro. Dense cloud cover on our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam. Heavy rain with a few storms continue the rest of this evening with clearing on Monday, but we will have very windy conditions, some chilly temperatures, and rain returns once again on Wednesday. So stay with us for all those details, but back to you, Renetta.
Thank you, Jenna. Well, anyone driving too slowly in the left lane in South Carolina could wind up paying more out of pocket. The fine for driving too slowly in the left-hand lane could be increasing from $25 to $100. Lance Corporal Tyler Tidwell with Highway Patrol says if the fine is higher, people may be more likely to pay attention. He says driving too slowly in the fast lane could be dangerous.
it could create a issue to where people are slowing down, they're going around that vehicle, and people may have road rage over that. So we're just trying to prevent that.
The Senate Transportation Committee gave the green light to raising the fine. Now it's on its way to the Senate floor. If it passes, it will still need to go through the House before making it to the governor's desk. The Aiken community plans to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. today. 35-year Aiken City Council veteran Leslie Price was the keynote speaker, and we will have that full story for you later on tonight at 11 o'clock. Aiken Mayor Rick Osborne will host his annual State of the City address tomorrow at 6 o'clock at the Momentum Center on Newberry Street. Osborne has been connecting with Aiken residents like this since 2016. He will give updates on what city leaders have been doing and what they plan to do this year. He will also talk about the future of Project Pascalis, and we'll have an update tomorrow night at 10 and 11 here on WJBF News Channel 6. South Carolina lawmakers taking action after attacks on substations across the county. Jason Raven has details.
The legislation would create stiffer penalties for anyone who attacks a substation here in South Carolina.
Our hydro station is on this side of the road, about a half a mile through all these thick woods here.
Last month, gunshots were fired near an electrical facility in Ridgeway. Kershaw County deputies, state law enforcement, and federal agents immediately investigated the incident.
I currently have no reason to believe this shooting incident has anything to do with an attack on the hydro station.
The deputies say the shooting seemed to be random and the hydro station did not appear to be a target, but attacks in other states have lawmakers on high alert at the South Carolina State House. The senators are considering two bills supporters say would send clear messages to anyone willfully attacking the state's power grid in any way. One of the bills they're considering, if signed into law, someone could face up to 25 years if the destruction or damage of a system results in the death or bodily injury of a person or an imminent danger to the life, health, or safety of a person.
I do believe that the sentencing guidelines are important in upping the guidelines for someone who goes out and, as you said, not unintentionally, but intentionally and maliciously goes out and is up to devilment. Those are the ones we need to be focused on, because those are the people who are jeopardizing your constituents and the citizens of South Carolina.
And that legislation would also establish tiered penalties depending on how severe the damage or destruction of a unit is. Now, currently, the maximum you could face under South Carolina law is 10 years. Now, there were some concerns about some of the language in these bills, and if someone who unintentionally damages something like a power pole in an accident could face serious fines or prison time. Now, the two bills taken up by the Senate Judiciary Subcommittee this week were carried over, meaning they'll take up the legislation at a later time before advancing it. In Columbia, I'm Jason Raven.
Coming up, we join Jenna once more for a look at your weather. Stay with us.
The Accurate Forecast with WJBF Live Viper 6.
Good Sunday evening. We've picked up a whole lot of rain over the last 24 hours, especially in Aiken County. Check out that total of 2.7 inches. For the most part, around an inch to an inch and a half around the CSRA, like in the Gibson area, and an inch and a half around Augusta as well. Down in Sylvania, almost 2 inches in Swainsboro. So here's what's happening right now on Live Viper 6. Widespread rainfall with some pockets of heavier downpours south of I-20, especially around Emmanuel and Screven County. We're watching what's just to the southeast of Stillmore. Notice this pocket of very heavy rain with a lot of lightning. That lightning counter up to 25 strikes in this area. This is moving towards the northeast, so it could impact some portions of southern Emmanuel, Jenkins, and Screven County, and that's where the severe weather threat is as well. So notice this line here that we've been watching over the past few hours. This has developed some severe thunderstorm warnings with gusty winds and even some tornadoes. So that's just to the south of our area. Looks like it'll be staying that way since that warm front is to the south of us as well. And in between the warm and cold front is where that severe severe weather development is taking place. So that should stay just in our southern counties from Emmanuel over to Allendale County. That's where there's a level 1 out of 5 risk of severe weather. I think that tornado threat will be completely done. It's just that very far southern portion of Emmanuel and possibly Screven County that could have a severe thunderstorm warning within the next hour or so. So you can also tell exactly where that warm front is based off our temperature map. 73 down in Valdosta, 62 in Brunswick, 63 in Savannah. But for the rest of the two-state, we're seeing a lot of low to mid 40s, and closer to home, a lot of 40s on our map. But you can see it's a little bit warmer from Swainsboro over to Sylvania. That's at 54 degrees, 50 in Allendale and Millen, 49 in Waynesboro. We also have very cloudy conditions in addition to the rain, and that's making visibility very poor. Only 4 miles in Augusta, 2 in Barnwell, and 5 in Aiken. Here's a look at downtown Swainsboro. Speaking of Emmanuel County on our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam, of course it's dark out now, but when we still had the sun up, you could see how stormy it was looking with that approaching strong line of storms. Now, over the next several days, we won't have a whole lot of rainfall. Looks like Wednesday will be our next best chance, but what we will have is a drop in temperature starting on Tuesday morning. We'll be into those upper 20s, so a big drop off from our temperature tonight of 42, and into the end of the week, we'll drop below freezing as well to 30 degrees. But here's our future cast for the rest of tonight. Some pockets of heavy rain and thunderstorms south of I-20, so our northern counties will just be dealing with that light rainfall. Some showers still around 11 o'clock and midnight, but then you can see the clouds breaking apart around 5 a.m. And we'll have a lot of sunshine on Monday, so it's looking pretty good, but it will be much cooler and also very windy. We have a lake wind advisory that goes in effect from 4 a.m. until Monday afternoon for the counties here in yellow. That's where we could see wind gusts of around 30 miles per hour. These will be coming in from the west, very strong behind that cold front, so notice wind gusts going up to mostly around 25 miles per hour on Monday afternoon. Now for tonight, we'll have clearing skies. Temperatures will be colder in our northwest counties, upper 30s, and a big spread of temperatures tomorrow too, low 50s through upper 50s, depending on where that front is located. Now over the next 10 days, we're seeing some cool temperatures, not seeing many warm days this week. High chance of rain on Wednesday, back to a 70% chance. Cooler temperatures with sunshine over the weekend, with more rain next week.
Can we expect Wednesday to look pretty much like today?
Yeah, just that messy rain, real cloudy outside, but at least it's for the first half of the day. Wednesday night should be okay.
All right, happy hump day.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Jenna. The Savannah community remembers a local artist and brings awareness to the disease that took his life. Edward Moody has that story.
In 2015, Arthur Lee Milton, known around Savannah as Artie the Artist, received a devastating diagnosis: colon cancer, stage 4, too advanced for surgery.
The doctor's recommendation was a regimen of chemotherapy. He was given a maximum of 12 months to live. He fought the battle and lost it after 18 months.
A 1971 graduate of Beach High School, Lee went on to become a longshoreman and a member of SCAD's first graduating class. His sister, Chatham County Commissioner Tanya Milton, is making sure his death was not in vain.
If he were here today, he would highly recommend to everyone here to please be aware of colon cancer and get screened.
Colon cancer is the third most common cancer, is the second deadliest cancer, and is probably the most preventable through preventable measures.
Board-certified gastroenterologist Dr. Brent Aker says there are different ways to screen for colon cancer, but the gold standard is a colonoscopy, starting at age 45.
If you have a family member that has been diagnosed at a young age, which I see a lot of patients, unfortunately, that are 38, 39, 40 years old that have ignored symptoms, then, the colonoscopy should start 10 years before that family member's diagnosis.
According to the American Cancer Society, Black people have the highest colon cancer incidence and mortality rate of any other racial group in America. Lifestyle changes can help curb those numbers.
We want to eat healthier. We want to improve our diets, have less red meats, improve our vegetables and fresh fruit that we're intaking. And of course, we want to get more physical activity in.
Coming up, a mass shooting took place in California Saturday night. At least 10 people were shot and killed. We have those full details when we return.
Insurance Company Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Authorities identified the man they say is responsible for the deadly mass shooting near Los Angeles. 10 people are dead and at least 10 are injured. ABC's Tim Pulliam has those details.
Overnight, 10 people killed and at least 10 injured in a mass shooting near Los Angeles.
I got approximately 10 deceased.
Crews rushing to the scene outside this dance studio, treating victims in the parking lot. Survivors rushed to the hospital. Authorities say their condition ranged from critical to stable.
When officers arrived at the location, they observed numerous victims and patrons in the business parking lot. Additional officers made entry into the business and located numerous gunshot victims.
Witnesses described the terror.
It sounded like a very heavy artillery weapon.
And heartbreak.
We are safe. I'm scared. We feel so safe. How come? What happened?
The shooter going on a violent rampage inside the Stardance studio. Moments before the deadly attack, people in this predominantly Asian American community celebrating the Lunar New Year nearby. Authorities say they are investigating if a second incident at another ballroom in a neighboring suburb is tied to the shooting. So far, investigators not saying if the attack was a racial hate crime. The FBI is now involved.
As we're looking for this suspect, we will not forget the victims and survivors. And it's important because you can just imagine the trauma that they've experienced.
Leaders reacting to the nation's deadliest mass shooting so far this year. California Governor Gavin Newsom releasing this statement in part. Our hearts mourn as we learn more about the devastating acts of last night. Investigators are trying to determine if the suspect knew any of the victims. Day 2 of the Chinese New Year festival is canceled. Tim Pulliam, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Sometimes you just need a little more space in your home. You can't always get it, but with the right furniture, you can get more out of the space you do have. It's easy at Rooms to Go. Fashionable, functional furniture that helps you do more for less. So turn any room into a guest room. Turn a small space into something more. Turn a spare room into your favorite room. And transform your home into exactly what you need. I'm Julianne Huff, and this is what's possible at Rooms to Go.
Insurance company. Now, WJBF sports coverage you can count on.
It's been a relatively chill Sunday in sports, but I do have a few cool things to show y'all. First up in the NFL, the Bills hosted the Bengals for their first game against each other since the Damar Hamlin incident. The Bills were looking to get the big win at home, but Joe Burrow and his team got to work early as they led 17-7 at halftime. Now, despite it being 34 degrees and snowing, the Bengals got it done as they secured the win 27-10. And speaking of Damar Hamlin, there he is in attendance for his first game back at Highmark Stadium since he suffered cardiac arrest on January 2nd. Now, the Bills may have lost the game today, but having Damar back in the arena healthy and watching his team, I'd call that a win. Bills-Bengals wasn't the only game today. We've got another big matchup coming up as the Cowboys head to San Francisco. That game is just about to kick off, and we'll have highlights for you at 11. The University of South Carolina women's basketball team took on Arkansas in their annual Wjbf game. This game is named after legendary Tennessee women's basketball coach Pat Summitt, who passed away in 2016. And this game is just a way for the SEC to honor her and raise money and awareness for Alzheimer's. South Carolina played incredibly on both sides of the ball in that game, and we saw, due to those highlights, we saw 3 Gamecocks score in double figures, including 2 double-doubles. Zaya Cook had 25 points, Aaliyah Boston had 13 points and 14 rebounds, and Camila Cardoso had 12 points and 16 rebounds. The top-ranked Gamecocks really put on a show for this SEC matchup as they routed the Razorbacks 92-46. We'll be right back.
The original
Here for you. It's the January clearance event at Weinberger's, and we're saying goodbye to our top quality sofas and sectionals.
I'm gonna miss you so much.
Tables and chairs.
See you later.
Wing chairs and buffet tables.
Sayonara.
Top quality brands.
Nice knowing ya.
Accessories and more.
Gone.
Everything must go.
Tons of in-stock merchandise ready for immediate delivery. Can you save on every in-stock item at all 3 locations?
Yes, you can.
Child-free weddings are getting more popular, but one bride took it to an extreme. She banned anyone under 21 from attending her wedding. The only problem, her best friend was only 20, so she couldn't come. So she and her bestie are, of course, no longer besties. The bride said she didn't want to have to worry about anyone underage drinking on her special day. But many social media users were on the friend side, calling the bride a true bridezilla. So what do y'all think?
Yeah, that's weird.
That's,
Yeah.
if my best friend was 20, I mean, I understand not wanting 3-year-olds running around.
Yeah.
20-year-olds? No, I would
What was
make it
the drinking?
18 and over. I would do 18 and over. That's fair.
Yeah, and I mean, the best friend should just be like, look, I'm not going to drink. You should trust me.
Yeah, totally.
Very weird.
Exception.
Yeah, I would let my 20-year-old best
Yeah,
friend
that
come.
is. Yeah,
We're
that's
with
a
you,
bridezilla
Bessie, okay?
moment.
She
Yeah.
was a bridezilla.
I'd invite her to my wedding in the future. Make up for it. Well, we have a lot of rain right now. Some heavy downpours and thunderstorms south of I-20 around the Emmanuel County area over into Allendale County. That's where the worst of this rain is. Tomorrow, we don't have any more rain to worry about. We'll be back to sunshine, but it will stay very windy with gusts up to around 30 miles per hour and some cooler temperatures, only 54 degrees as our high. Low temperatures are also dropping as well. We'll be in the upper 20s Tuesday morning, several mornings below freezing with more rain on the way Wednesday morning and more rain next week as well. So not the best forecast. I just really want a day of sunshine and warm temperatures, and it looks like we're not having that this week.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm waiting for it.
Yep.
You'll let us know when it's
Yeah, I'll let you know for sure.
All right, thanks for watching, and we'll be back again at 11 o'clock.